Well, at least historian Kate Williams can bring some order to things, can't she?
There are tantrums and paint flying in the political kindergarten. It's completely out of control.
Now, Vladimir Putin and the Donald, they're going to meet up at tomorrow's G20. Well, they've got a lot to talk about. Afghanistan, Syria, Venezuela and, of course, Iran. Trump approved military action against Iran last week in retaliation for downing an American surveillance drone. He pulled back from a strike with just minutes to spare, saying that too many people would have been killed. It didn't do much to cool tempers, however. POTUS said he would obliterate Iran if it went on to attack anything American, whatever that means. Tehran, though, taking a simply diplomatic tone, called US sanctions against Iran mentally retarded. Mr. Trump hit back on Twitter, saying the comments showed that Iran's leaders do not understand reality. Does anyone else have rather sweaty hands at the moment? Well, tonight we're putting losing control in the spotlight.
Control? Control? I may be new to this week, but come on. I know there's not much of that around here. Well, at least the blonde bombshell knows self-restraint is very important in love and war.
Does a person's private life...
Don't boo! No, don't boo the great man.
You won't even tell me when the picture was taken?
No, why should I?
Because
Why
it's
should
not
I?
recent. Is it? Your hair in this photograph is not your hair currently, is it?
If I may say so, this conversation
We've got
is now
about 20...
descending into...
Well, I'll be the
farce.
judge of that.
Just don't have any more rows.
No more rows, no, all quiet, all quiet.
And what of the Donald? Is he in control or out of control?
Are we going to have a war with Iran, Mr. President?
I've been very nice to them. I decided not to do. They shot down our drone. I decided not to kill a lot of Iranians. I know a lot of Iranians. I like Iranians so much.
Hey, why did you say no?
I was telling the truth.
Tess says you're a liar.
MPs asked if the conflict resolution show Jeremy Kyle ever had a grip over its methods.
You are then presenting them with someone who has the razor-sharp mind of a barrister and can tear them apart in public.
While at the Women's World Cup, control of the ball ended up being the least of Cameroon's problems.
It didn't feel like football, I've got to be honest. The behaviour was wrong. The behaviour was wrong because it's the image of women's football then that's going out worldwide about a team that comes to the side and is starting to refuse to play.
But what about our trusted, cool, calm, collected royals?
The country should not be paying for their house. The royal family have plenty of private means. We have a monarchy that arms service to the people. Nobody asks to get born into that family.
I think it's disgusting. I think it's abhorrent.
Luckily, when it comes to control and cracking the whip, historian Kate Williams is a true ringmaster.
Well, Kate is here with us now. Welcome.
Not in a circus outfit.
No, absolutely not. Are we out? Is this country out of control?
I think what we're seeing is a panic over what's happening and is a lack of control. And I think there's been a lack of control ever since the referendum because there was no plan. The referendum was called, as we know, most people, even on the Leave side, they didn't think they were going to win. We saw Nigel Farage claiming that Remain had won. And then so there was no plan at all. And there's been this scrabbling for plans over the last 3 years. We haven't got anything. We are approaching a moment in which Halloween, which really seems like tomorrow, we will leave possibly, we talk about no deal from Mr Johnson. Obviously, Liz is talking about the ways in which Parliament can stop it. So I think that the wheels have come off the bus and we've spiralled out of control. And where are we going?
Put your history hat on just for a moment.
It's always on.
Well, surely we've been through worse. We've lost an empire. We've fought wars. We've been through worse than this and come through.
Well, we lost an empire, we fought wars, we lost America, but every example there is loss of control. They completely lost control of America. They completely lost control of the empire. And yes, in the war, yes, of course, we fought World War I, fought World War II very successfully, but we weren't doing that alone. There were many. There's a debate being rehearsed very frequently throughout the Brexit debate about standing alone. Britain had 2.5 million troops in India, had empire troops, and then further on in the war, Russia was a key player. Britain, you can act alone in a domestic sense, you can make domestic changes, but if you're dealing with anything internationally, you need collaboration. And simply the idea, so we have this with Mr. Johnson, who one moment is claiming, I think the take back control was one of his key monikers, wasn't it? Take back control and we'll all get on the bus together. And now say Richard Tice is telling businesses, I think he was on Hard Talk, wasn't he, saying that basically businesses who aren't ready for a hard Brexit, it's their fault. And they haven't been given any clarity at all before, so now it's their fault what's going on. So I think we're completely without control, and it's not just the control we haven't got, we have no plan of what's next.
Now, even the German press are describing what's going on here. They use the expression cluster, it rhymes with duck, to describe what's going on here. I mean, are we now a laughingstock?
I think we have been for quite some time, and I think that we can perhaps, many of us, there's an interesting, that Angela Merkel, because she can read the papers in all the different languages, whereas many of our politicians and many of us cannot, so we don't know what's being said about us. But it is disastrous, I think, what's being said about us and the coverage all over the world, because for many, you all over the world they're saying, but you have this fantastic deal. You had this amazing deal with the EU. You had the rebate. You have this huge trading partner, and you've completely cut it off. So you're not just cutting off your nose to spite your face, you're cutting off the whole face, really.
What's holding us together?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a loss of control. I would say we had a period of stability from 1979 to 2016, and we're not in that period of stability anymore. It's perfectly true. We can't predict most days what's going to happen by lunchtime. However, for citizens, as opposed to businesses, for citizens, I think most citizens will not observe the difference, whether it's Mrs May's deal or, supposing we revoked Article 50, most people would have no idea that life had changed at all. I admit that businesses probably would.
But with businesses we get to buy things from.
However, if Jeremy Corbyn becomes Prime Minister, then everyone will be aware of a change. That will be a dramatic change.
I tell you where I think we're really losing control, in addition to what you've said, Kate, which I broadly agree with, is that politics now is the idea that you would try and find areas of common agreement and compromise and common ground is anathema now. It's all about doubling down on your base and attacking the other person. And that anger and the intensity of it, I think, does feel out of control. We ourselves are behaving in an out-of-control way, and I think that has got to stop.
I'll make a prediction. Brexit will go through with 25 Labour votes.
Well, I mean, what that you
I don't. But a no-deal Brexit is not going to. Boris Johnson, sorry, Kate, Brexit is not going to go through a no-deal Brexit with.
No, not a no-deal Brexit. It'll be Mrs May's Brexit. We all know it.
So there'll be a deal.
So you think Boris Johnson's going to put through a withdrawal agreement?
And it will go. Yeah, more or less. And it will go through with Labour votes.
Then he will have betrayed all of the people that he promised that he wouldn't do that to.
The question about that is, what shocks me as a historian to see serious consideration being given to proroguing, basically shutting Parliament. Yeah. And so if it's so easy, then why is it the possibility?
Serious consideration is not being given to that.
Right. Boris Johnson said that tonight, I'm afraid, Michael.
No, but they don't mean it.
But, I mean, look what got Charles I. It was not a...
This is what the madness is.
It wasn't, certainly.
I mean, much as I find Mr Johnson very annoying, I would prefer him not to be executed in front of the banqueting house. I think this would perhaps be a bit of a bad thing. But
the final word, the final act,
the final
Charles
act
first, and for you.
We have done the opposite of taking back control. We had it before, and we have absolutely lost it. And it is
I've got to take back control.
What we are.
I'm taking back control. That's it.
It's all disaster.
I have control, because that's your lot for tonight.